Hey guys, it's me Goldilocks and this is my channel Goldilocks Does That Aesthetics. So today we're going to talk about how to keep your fat alive after you get a fat transfer or a BBL, okay? So I got a special request to do a video about fat survival, and there's like a number of things that you can do to help ensure that your fat stays alive and healthy after you get the transfer, because let's be honest, it's a lot of money. We don't want that fat to be dying or get like fat necrosis where the fat dies. Like, that's a no-no. We don't want that. So there's a number of things we can do to help with that, but the most important thing is the technique that was used for your fat transfer. Okay, so I wanted to make a special video dedicated to like fat transfer techniques, because it's so important that you get the right technique. Now I'll say for my BBL, I'm gonna be perfectly honest, like I have no idea what technique was used for my BBL. I just like looked at the doctor's results and then really loved them and then kind of just trusted in the process. Okay, but you're going for a major surgery or possibly considering a major surgery, so it's like so important that you have like all the information available to you so that you can get the best process that is available to you. Okay, so we're just gonna go over like there's basically three main fat transfer techniques, and we're gonna go over them right now. So basically there's 3 steps to a fat transfer. Okay, first step is harvesting the fat, so gathering the fat so that we can move it to where we want it to. Second step is processing, and that's basically where we are cleaning the fat, because when they take the fat out of your body, it comes with a lot of other stuff. Okay, it's not just fat, you know, it's red blood cells and it's also like lipids. And we gotta clean that out. Okay, so because if you don't properly clean the fat, 2 things can happen. One, you can get like a lot of inflammation if you have too many like red blood cells, and then 2, if you have too many lipids still left in the fat, like it can cause cysts. Yeah, so we don't want that. So we want the fat to be properly clean, but here's the thing: if you're too rough with the fat cells, they'll die, and which means they like get reabsorbed back into the body and you like don't get the results you want. So we don't want that either. So it's important when processing that you're not only cleaning the fat properly, but also being gentle with the fat so as much can survive as possible. Okay, and the third step is just placement of the fat. Okay, and we all know about that. You put it in the booty or wherever you want it. Okay, but the main part is the processing. So we're gonna go over 3 methods that are typically used for processing fat during BBLs and fat transfers. So the most basic, like oldest method for you know, separating your fat from the lipids and the red blood cells is basically just using a centrifuge, so centrifugation. Okay, and that's basically where you collect the fat, you put it in a little test tube, and then you use a centrifuge which spins it around really fast, and because it spins it around really fast, like the lighter and the heavier materials separate from the fat. So you'll have like at the top you'll have like the lipids, and at the bottom you'll have like the additional fluid, and in the middle is the fat cells. Okay, the second method is called lipo kit, and lipo kit is very similar to centrifuge, except it's just like a more efficient process. Like for example, centrifuge can take like, you know, 40-45 minutes to complete that process, while lipo kit takes like 10-11 minutes. Okay, so it's basically like a speeded up, like more efficient version of the centrifuge. A centrifuge is still used, but there's like a number of processes, which I won't give into too many specifics with it, but there's a number of processes that the fat goes through. So not only is it processed faster, but it's also processed more effectively, so it's cleaner, so you get more fat survival. So, and the last method that you can use is called pure graft. Okay, so what Pure Graft does is it actually, as opposed to like the centrifuge, which is like spins it around really fast, like spins around the fat really fast to help like separate the layers, it uses like a filtration system. Pure Graft, that is, it uses a filtration system which gently like separates the fat from the lipids and the red blood cells, and it basically uses, they call them membranes, but it's basically like a filter. So it just filters it through the membranes, and it helps to clean the fat like more effectively, and it also like very gentle on the fat, so there's not damage to the fat cells, because a damaged fat cell is not a healthy fat cell, and a damaged fat cell is not going to survive like a fat transfer. So your body will literally reabsorb it if it's damaged. And so I don't know if you're familiar with a centrifuge, but a centrifuge basically like spins like the fat around like super duper fast to help separate the layers. Basically the heavier stuff goes on the bottom and the light stuff goes on the top, so the lipids will separate at the top and then the fluids at the bottom, and then the fat will be in the middle. Okay, so it's like a super like harsh process to like spin around like super fast and it can damage cells. But with the Pure Graft, it does it just through a very gentle filtration system. It doesn't cause damage to the cells, and it also more effectively separates those impurities. Okay, so it's super important that when you're doing research, you know like what kind of process the fat that's being re-injected into your body is going to go through, because that's going to ensure like you have the best results. Okay, and on top of that, let me add too that Pure Graft also is like a shorter process. Like I said previously, like the centrifuge could take, you know, up to 45 minutes. The lipo kit takes about 10-11, and then the Pure Graft takes like 15 minutes. Okay, so it's still a short amount of time. It does like a little bit more effective job of like preserving your fat and cleaning your fat. Okay, here is a visual representation of like how the different processes look for purifying your fat. As you can see, the first picture is the controlled, and that's basically where they didn't really do anything to the fat. They just took it out and kind of let it do its own thing, right? That's the control group. And then you can see the centrifuge group, and then you can see the lipo kit group, and then the last one is the Pure Graft fat. Right, so these four centrifuges, or these four test tubes of fat, have all been processed differently. First one not at all, second one with the centrifuge, third one with the lipo kit, and fourth one with the Pure Graft. And you can just really see the difference in the samples of like how the fat looks. Like you can see like the Pure Graft is obviously like looks super pure. You don't see a lot of red blood cells in there. It looks good. It looks like healthy. It looks like healthy fat. So I just wanted to throw this in there so you guys can see like a visual representation of how the different processes look. So I am going to do another video talking about what you can do as far as aftercare once you've already had your BBL, and how you can make your survival of fat just like way more effective. Okay, but it's super important that you get your fat clean properly. So I just wanted to make a special video focusing on that, because that's probably like the #1 thing that you can do for yourself. Like #1 thing, how you know like your fat will survive because it's treated the best possible way. Okay, so that is the end of my video. Thank you for watching.